Hey everyone, in this video I'm going to give you an introduction to Lab 2. So this is due Sunday, May 16th. As always, we're going to turn it in using the tag for this lab in our Git repository. And if you have the book, this actually comes out of a problem from the book that you could take a look at, but it's just copied here. And we actually have some additional requirements on what our output needs to look like. So if you need some help getting started, I can walk you through how I might start this. So we can see here that we're required to write our program in a specific file in a specific place. So I have my Git repo for this class. I'm going to get right in there, and I need to make this in labs, lab 2. So let me go into labs. I just have lab 1 so far, so I need to make a directory, lab 2, and then I need to cd into that directory, and then I can start my lab2.c file. So like we saw in the lab 1 intro, I could copy some previous C file that I've been working on to start this. But for this one, I'm actually going to go through an example from your book that's pretty similar to this lab. So if you are looking at this and thinking to yourself, how can I make a program that is going to just keep going until the user tells me to stop, because we haven't done that yet, then this example is for you. So in the book on page 264, figure 5.10, the book gives us an example of a program that can compute the sum of a list of exam scores. And so I'm just going to start here, pretty much copying the program there. So compute the sum of a list of exam scores. And this is going to come from the user, so we're going to need our standard IO. And then in the book, they're actually going to use what they call a sentinel value. And this is a way to think about my loop. I can think of, I have some value that is going to define when I'm going to stop my loop. And the book calls this a sentinel value. And I think that's a useful way to think about it. So we need our main function here. And so our goal is going to be to sum up these scores. But in this example, I'm actually not going to go that far. You can take a look at the example from the book if you like. But I will, so maybe I actually won't even put that comment in. Current score from user. So I'm going to get these scores. Let's say they're going to be ints. And I just need a variable that can store that. So what I need to do is I need to loop until the user tells me to stop. I guess I'll put that in a comment. Continue until the user enters -99. So loop, I guess keep asking the user for score until sentinel, until we get that sentinel value. And so how do I want to ask the user? So I can use printf, enter first score, or they can enter the sentinel value. Ooh, to quit, not quite. And so this placeholder here is for that sentinel value. So since I made this a constant, I could change this later in my program. Say I don't want them to enter minus 99, I want them to enter -1. It'd be really easy for me to change that. But here, all we're doing is we're asking the user, enter minus 99 to quit. Or enter the first score. So then we need to get that first score, and we want to save it to the variable score. So this gets us the first score, and then we can just use our while loop to, as long as score is not sentinel, then we need to ask user for score again, right? So I could, why don't I actually copy this? So I just used yank, and then I'm going to paste, and then these need to be indented. So what I did here is I used capital V to select, and now I'm going to press Shift and this symbol to scooch them one tab to the right. So I guess it's Shift period, but I think of it as Shift whatever this is, the greater than symbol. So let's see if this works. So I would need to compile it. I'm going to compile it to lab 2, and I'm going to run it. So here we go. I'm being prompted for my first score. Say it was 100. Say the second one was 85, and say I only had 2 scores, so now I'm done. And this loop is working how we want it to. So that's just an example. This comes straight from the book. For you, I would say, first, think about how would you use a do-while loop here, and would it be better? Hint, yes, it would be just a little more elegant. But if you're lost on this assignment, you can start from this code here and think about how to edit it to get what we need. So let's just go ahead and scroll down here and see if there's anything else I want to point out. As always, I would say take a careful look at the grading. You'll notice that we need exactly 2 decimal points in the average temperature. And make sure that you've got comments, both at the top of your program explaining what it does, and then also throughout. We want to indent all of our code blocks and just generally use white space nicely. Make sure you're compiling with -wall so we see all warnings, and you should not have any warnings. And yeah, make sure that you start this one early since you're going to be working on it potentially over the weekend. But if you start it early, I bet you could finish it early and have the weekend to yourself. So good luck on this one.